So if there was any one person in your industry that you would love to meet or collaborate with, could you name one?
Oh, hmm. One person, just one person.
Or business?
Oof.
Top of the
Um,
head.
well, I just have to go back to my buddy Jesse from the very beginning because he's amazing. Like that guy, I would have him right. Yeah, I would do everything that guy tells me to do. Like I don't know, he's just such a heartfelt dude. Um, but he's just been my coffee mentor, and he still checks in with me. I don't ever see him, but he's always like checking in, which is really cool. So I definitely have Jesse on my board on my team. Far as like, are you asking for like someone like famous or someone else that no, nothing like that? Okay, good, good. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't. I just want like I'm gonna kind of answer that in a different way, but like I just want to bring the community with me. Like I want the support from the community. Yeah. I think that's a very important thing to do. Like if you're doing it with isolated, you're doing it for some other reason. But like I think if you're supported by the community, you're doing it together as a family, and you guys can help each other out to create something very very special.
I want to phrase it slightly differently. If you could only sponsor one roaster at your business, who would it be?
Mm. No, no pressure. Yeah. That's like an impossible question to answer. There's a lot of good roasters. Um, mm,
What about like the most interesting things you've tried that are just kind of off the wall?
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new co-ferment coffees out there now that are just like bonkers. A couple of coffees I've had in town recently is I don't know if some people have had it. It was a co-fermented banana coffee, and that was just wildly like banana bread and chocolate. There's a co-ferment, a water co-ferment that's been like a watermelon Jolly Rancher, which is insane. So those are like some of the coffees, and some of those roasters that produce those coffees. I'll say those guys. I don't know. I just think that like it's fun. Coffee shouldn't be just kind of plain, and just kind of repeated all the time. I think we should always be challenging ourselves to do better and to brew coffee in a different way and to get a better extraction. Um, but I'll say Color Coffee out of Colorado is one of my favorite roasters, hands down. Charlie over there is an amazing guy, and he's got good stuff going on. Um, I do have a good relationship with Loyal Coffee down in Colorado Springs, so I like them a lot. They're really good people. Um, and I have to give a shout out to Little Waves out of Durham, North Carolina. They're one of my favorites. The all female roaster, and they crush. They do a really good roast. One of the more authentic coffee shops I've been in my travels, and they make handmade churros, so that's a big plus. So yeah, there's a couple of them. Man, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll accept that answer, I guess. We'll do a couple other questions with you, James.
Um, I was curious what you think it takes for food and or beverage business to survive in Salida.
Hmm.
It seems like there's awesome places that have been opening in the past
Yeah,
couple of years that I've been here.
yeah.
Is it a real place that a chef or an entrepreneur can come and start a business?
Hmm. Good question. Um, I don't know how to answer that one. I think like for Salida, you can't just expect to come in outside of from Salida and run it like a city restaurant. I think we have to approach it in a different way in Salida because Salida responds differently. Um, Salida is slow Lida. Like it is slow. They are slow. It is Salida time. And I think like it does take a little bit time to grab on to the locals here and to kind of gain traction. So I think it needs to be very intentionally towards the community, and we're here for everyone, not so isolating, in different ways. But I do think it has to be very inviting, and I think it has to, it's not necessarily fancy, I don't think you have to go. I just think it just it's the connect. People are looking for connections now, and I think if a couple of the good restaurants in town do really good at that. So I think more and more people. One of the most consistent restaurants I've ever been to is Amika's, and they've been here for years. So very true local shop for everyone. Yeah. Um, so um, yeah. Does that answer it? Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else with one last question? Oh, maybe two. We'll go with two.
I like doing questions more.
I just have a question on syrups and milks and oat milk and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
people, I often think they're trying to hide something they don't like,
Correct.
but I wanted to hear your view on it.
So syrups and everything definitely spice up the coffees. They do tend to hide the coffee flavor. And typically why that is they use a cheaper coffee. So for a profit. Not necessarily a cheap, like, I don't know. They usually are not actually taking care of their coffee as well. They're not dialed in, is what I like to say on bar. And so it's a very fast paced kind of drink. So you're just throwing a coffee shot of espresso in there. You're not paying attention to it. It gives you a shot of espresso. You throw it in, throw a couple shots of sugar on top of it, and you don't taste it. So a lot of people think that a shot of espresso tastes really bad, really bitter, really, I mean, just off the wall. Like you don't want to touch that. But I promise I could make an espresso shot for you that you would absolutely love. It would be very sweet, very candy like kind of shot of espresso. So we don't have to add sweeteners or any kind of syrups to it. Now, with that said, I think adding syrups and making your own syrups is fantastic. I think creation, we are made to be creative, and I think that there is ways to make a really good beverage. So not necessarily a true traditional coffee drink, but you can make a really good beverage. And I think some people do very good. Like, who doesn't like a mocha? Like chocolate in their coffee. So, but it's depending on how you make that mocha, it makes a difference. I think that was.
I think you had one more over here. Were you going to touch on the syrups too?
I'll talk about milks. Milk's a good one. I forgot to touch on.
So I travel around the state
Cool.
for fun.
Yeah.
And when I'm in Salida, I know where to go for coffee, but I don't always know in other communities.
Yeah.
If I was to go to a shop as I travel around, which ones would exemplify the kind of thing you envision?
Yeah, that is a good question. It's a problem. You can't really find them right away. One of the things that you can do is go research roaster, not a coffee shop, not cafe, but research roaster. Typically, what that tells me is they actually are taking some time to care for their coffee because they're actually roasting their own coffee. And if they're a good roaster, they should be proud about what they're roasting, right? And so I think that's what matters to me when I'm looking for a good coffee shop is like, are they passionate about what they're brewing or are they just slinging coffee out the door? There's a few questions that you have that I have when I go to coffee shops and stuff like that too. And it's one of them is actually just a kind of a guided question. It's like, hey, like, where would you get coffee if you weren't working? So ask that barista, where would they go get coffee? And that kind of leads you to a nice shop. So whether it's down an alleyway or the secret door.
Thank you.
Instagram also helps. You can just search specialty coffee. So
Awesome. Well, Seth, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Any more questions?
If you guys haven't had the opportunity to, I know I'm probably personally biased in this, but what I've seen you create at your place is very authentic. And the number of connections I've seen that come from that place as friendships or business opportunities or collaboration with other people, I think is very unique and really cool. So as you guys have the opportunity, if you haven't been into Seth's shop, or I think everybody here probably has, just I think it's very special what you're doing, and I cannot wait to see what you continue to build and what that looks like. So
Thanks. If I can add one thing, what you can do is you go get a coffee, but get it in a ceramic. Spend the extra 5-10 minutes to enjoy that coffee. That'll make a difference. 8:30 to 12 currently, Monday through Friday. Classes at 1.
thank you.